Welcome to my spooky TBR. What's up guys, it's Itzel. Welcome to my channel. So as you can see, it's hard to see. I thought it could be fun to film my October TBR video in the dark or under like the candle lights to give off that like spooky ambiance. And it's like even raining a little bit outside, so I'm not sure if you can hear it though because it's just like sprinkling. It was raining earlier, but yes, the vibes are set for spooky season right now. Maybe if I ever do this again, I'll have more candles so you can see more of like the flame coming in and out, but really the biggest light currently is being produced by a lamp in the corner that has a little thing thrown over it. It's a jacket. It's a jacket thrown over it so it can block out some of the light. I didn't realize how bright this light bulb was, like in the lamp, but yes. It is currently past midnight. In case you're curious, one, I don't usually stay up this late. This is very much past my bedtime. I usually try and be in bed around 10, maybe 10:30. Two, I did sneeze approximately 9 times right before this video started. So if my voice sounds weird or I all of a sudden stop to sneeze, my allergies are very much acting up right now. And 3, I got this idea because I've been meaning to film my October TBR, but by the time I'm done with work and other responsibilities, the lighting is just not great. So I just kind of got the idea of like, jokingly, I was like, well, I'll just do it in the dark. And then I was like, oh wait, what if I do it in the dark with candles or lamps or something? And so that is how this idea was born. It is very late and I am very tired, so we're gonna go ahead and just get started. We will be using my TBR jar in this video. I made it in a reading vlog a while back, and then I used it for the first time when I picked my September TBR, so this will be my TBR jar picks my October TBR in the dark. I'm really hoping that this lighting situation is giving the correct vibes and ambiance and not just poor quality, but I guess I won't see until I've finished filming the entire video, so fingers crossed or whatever. I did put my prompts back in last month, so if I pull out the same prompt, I probably won't choose it again. I meant to dispose of them or at least save them to put them back in once it started getting empty, but I accidentally put them all back in and it's kind of been mixed since then, so we'll see what happens. I think I'm gonna pick out 6 books, but we'll see. I might get crazy and pick out a few more. Read a book set in a different time period. Okay, I am fairly certain I got this one last time. Although I do have several that would fit this prompt. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it down over there. Prompt number 1, the redo. Read an author's debut novel. So I'm going to be completely honest with you. This one would require some research because I don't know which of these books. Oh, bless me. Oh my gosh. Yep, my allergies are bad. I need to get to bed, take an allergy pill. As I was saying, this would require a little bit of research because I'm not really sure what on my shelf is a debut novel, and I am far too tired to research that right now, so we're gonna skip that one this time. Okay, prompt number 1, take 3. A 5-star prediction book. Oh, let me go investigate. Okay, so I have 4 choices. First, we have 6 of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Next, we have Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. Next, we have On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Fong. And finally, we have House of Hunger by Alexis Henderson. I think for the sake of it being October and spooky season in America, I am going to pick books more oriented towards like spooky, dark undertones. So I think because of that, I just have to go with House of Hunger. I don't know much about this book other than someone who is born into like poverty ends up applying and becoming a blood maid for the wealthy, and I'm not really sure about anything else other than that, but I know it's supposed to be a conversation about like classism and possibly some other things, and it's done using vampires, so good for the occasion. I meant season, good for the season. So book number 1. Okay, prompt number 2. I am really struggling here. Read a book set in a magical city. I will go Look at the Shelves, BRB. Okay, so Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo is set in a magical city. I just looked it up to confirm. This is a fantasy book about a heist, and there are 6 dangerous outcasts. I am actually not much of a fantasy reader, but I want to get into it, so I bought this book last year and I haven't read it yet, so I think that it would be nice to finally get it off my shelves, and I am really excited about it. I've heard really great things about it, and I don't really want to spoil anything for myself, so like I said, it's a heist, and it'll probably be in a reading vlog this month, and if you want to know more about it, you can probably watch other people's like fall TBR recommendations, because this is probably on a lot of them. Moving on to prompt number 3. I'm gonna get myself like a table or something. I actually just set my bookshelves up a few days ago, and I filmed like a bookshelf organization / bookshelf tour video, but that will be up after this one. So if you want to see what they look like in the daylight, you can watch that video when it comes out. But I am really happy with them. It's my first time ever having actual shelves, but I just haven't figured out how exactly to film in this space yet. But this is a great trial and error moment because the lighting is already all intentionally messed up, but it's, you know, imperfect, so it'll give me time to figure it out. Anywho, prompt number 3, read a genre you don't normally read. Well, there's fantasy, but you know what? I know exactly what genre I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna read a classic. I've been wanting to read a classic, or to get into classics, so it's time, and I've got these 2 to pick from. I've got Dracula by Bram Stoker and Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Now, I am not sure which one I actually want to read because I want to read them both. I actually pretty recently purchased both of these. Barnes & Noble was having a buy one get one 50% off on like this edition of their classics, so can't say no if I happen to already be in the store, you know what I mean? I kind of want to pick this one because it's shorter, but I feel like Dracula would be a vibe because I've never read it before. Granted, I've never read this in its complete entirety. I hope my high school teacher isn't listening, but I definitely skimmed this at that time. I was not a reader in high school. I wasn't a reader until after college. So at the time that I should have read this, I pretty much like skimmed it and stuff, and I didn't really get any of the central themes or the big messaging. I just kind of read enough / like spark noted enough to be able to answer questions and write about it, but I was a bad student. Anywho, I think I'm gonna go with Dracula to stay on the whole like vampire theme that I had from the first book. I honestly don't know anything about this besides the fact that it is about a vampire who is named Count Dracula. I'm not sure if this story is about him being a vampire his whole life basically, and then him living through it, or if part of it is him turning into one. I really truly have no idea, but I can't wait to find out. So we are going to add Dracula to my pile. And honestly, this cover is so stunning, and it's kind of like matte. It's got that like not matte, like that velvety texture. Oh, it's so nice. Man, we are flying through these. I'm actually doing a good job. Go me. Usually I just like to yap and yap and yap. All right, prompt number 4. Well, that's sucks. Read the longest book on your physical TBR. No, thank you. All right, let's go see what it is. Okay, so the longest book on my physical TBR is War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy, and it is 1,386 pages. Look at that freaking beast. That is kind of satisfying though. Do you hear that? Okay, enough about that. Oh, okay, moving on. I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't know that I'm gonna get to this. I don't think I'm ready for this. Like I just said, I haven't really read a classic in quite a while, so I really want to get back into them, and I don't think this is the place to start. So I will kind of set it up here as a maybe, but I truly don't know if I'm going to get to it. Moving on to the next prompt. Read a standalone book. Okay. Probably have a few options for that. Okay, so I think I'm going to go with One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. This was on my September TBR, but I did not get to it, so I want to try and read it this month because I am excited to read it. I just had a sneezing fit, so if I sound weird, that's probably why. Once again, I don't know too much about it. If you haven't noticed, I like to go into my books kind of blind, and I like to purposefully not know that much about them. So yeah, all I know is that it is a Romeo and Juliet reimagining, and it has to do with rival witch families in Manhattan. So yes, it is a fantasy book. Again, I am trying to get into fantasy, and that sounds like it's gonna give me some like dark themes within it. So sounds like a good pick for this month. Okay, next prompt. I think I dropped one. A book that's been adapted into a movie or TV show. I got this one last time, so we're just gonna throw that over there. I'm gonna grab the one that I had dropped on the floor. So we have a book by an author I've never read from. Well, I have quite a lot of those, so let's go have a look-see. Okay, so my top 2 contenders are The Book Eaters by Suni Dean and The Whisper Man by Alex North. So this one should be like somewhat of like a mystery thriller kind of situation. Poignant and terrifying. Brilliant. Nightmarish and disturbing. So you see the spooky vibes are here. And like I mentioned earlier, I was packing for a trip. I'm actually going to the same, I'm not going to the same exact place, but I bought this book while I was in Vermont last year, and I'm actually going back to Vermont this year, just to a few different cities and towns. So I feel like it would be kind of fun to read this book now around the same time that I'll be going back to that state. So I feel like this could be a good option. And then Book Eaters, it just seems like another kind of like dark fantasy with more like elements within it. I think it's gonna probably talk about like gender roles and gender expectations, since they eat books. That's like their food, that's their sustenance, but seems like girls are only fed like fairy tales and cautionary tales, but the main character, who I'm assuming is a female, is hungry for more. So that could be an interesting contender too. And I really did this to myself. Well, my camera's about to die, so I'm gonna go charge it for like 5 minutes while I decide, and then come back to pick our final book. Okay, so I didn't actually give my camera that much time to charge at all. I'm just really tired, so I just need to keep this moving along. But I decided to go with The Book Eaters by Suni Dean. Honestly, I read the backs of both books, and fun fact, even though I've been talking all this like spooky season, being in the dark, I am a scaredy cat. And literally reading the back of that book I just got scared. So yeah. It's not about like monsters or anything, it's like about people, which is possibly scarier. Oh god, I'm thinking about it now. Oh, I'm freaking myself out. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm actually scared right now. Oh my god. But basically people are disappearing and someone whispers people's names through their window, and then like strange things happen, and then eventually they disappear. But oh gosh, there's a window, a huge window right over there. I'm freaking out. It's getting hot in here. Okay, let's just move on. Distracting myself with continuing the video. So I have decided to put back War and Peace because I'm not gonna just throw it on the TBR and pretend that I'm gonna try and read it, because I'm not, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna try and read that this month. It is just not the month. If all of a sudden, for some reason, I want to pick it up, all right, cool, but I doubt that's the case. So I did put it back, but I did put the prompt back because I will eventually pick it, and it might just be time. But today, this month, it is not that time. All right, we have one last book to pick, so we're gonna go ahead and do that really quickly. Okay. A novel that explores social issues. I have at least 2 on that list already, but sure, I suppose we can get a 3rd one. I keep sneezing so much off camera, like right when I go to turn it on. Sneeze attack. Anywho, I've decided to go with A Mercy by Toni Morrison. Now, if you saw my last TBR video, this was on that TBR, and look how pretty this cover is, and then there's like a little portrait of her. I did start this. I'm on page 36 of like 170-ish. I have not finished reading it, but it's not because it's not good. Honestly, I've just genuinely been so busy in the past few like weeks, but also this isn't the kind of book, for me, this isn't the kind of book that I can just like lay down and read and go through pretty fast, pretty quickly. Like, this is definitely the kind of book, well, for one, I'm tabbing it. I don't know if like you can see some of those. But 2, her writing sometimes is a little bit foreign to me. The easiest way that I can explain this is, imagine like reading Shakespeare for like not necessarily the first time, but like if you're still like a novice at reading Shakespeare, like you're gonna have to look some stuff up because you're not really gonna understand what they're trying to say, or you know, like realistically you're just gonna have to keep reading it to understand like the flow of it, phrases, what means what, things like that. So on a less dramatic scale, that's how I feel about Toni Morrison's writing. Some things I have to reread, and then some things I just honestly look up because I want to see what other people are interpreting from it, or if I'm like reading it correctly. So that's why it's kind of been taking me a while. I have to want to use my brain when I read this, so I haven't been wanting to use it because I've been so drained, busy with other things. But I'm definitely going to finish it this month because it's already started, so I might as well continue it before I forget and have to start over. But yes, since I already had this one started, I am going to go ahead and pick one more book out. Let's see. I don't know, I just think this is really fun. And since I am going to go on this trip and I am going to be on some flights, I'm hoping that I get a lot of reading done on the plane. So the final prompt is, Read a book written 100 plus years ago. I'm not gonna lie, I am pretty positive that the only things this applies to is a classic. There's one other possible book, let me go check. Okay, so I've already stated that I'm not gonna read another classic, so I just put that one back. And we're gonna pick one more out. This will be my last prompt. Read a book that gives the current season's vibes. Oh, that's an awesome freaking prompt to get right now. Okay, let me go peruse my shelves because I need to see if I have any more spooky, yet not that spooky, books left for me to pick from. Okay, so I just looked up what books would be perfect to read like in the autumn time, and Starling House by Alex E. Harrow kept coming up, and I own it, so it just seems perfect. And then the last little quote I read was that this book is perfect for fall. So this is my final pick. Once again, I don't know too much about it, but I do know that someone needs a job, and so they end up working at the Starling House, and I'm not sure if like the house is creepy or the inhabitants are creepy, or I'm not sure what the whole eerie situation is, but there's like something wrong with this house, and so it's not an easy job, but they need the money, so they take it, and that is really all I know. So I am really excited for the ambiance because it was really hyped online about it being perfect for this season. So that's an awesome prompt to get, and this is probably a great book to actually go with that prompt. So I will recap for you all the books really quickly. We have Starling House, A Mercy, The Book Eaters, One for My Enemy, Dracula, Six of Crows, and House of Hunger. Honestly, that sounds like such a solid TBR. I am really, really, really looking forward to reading those. Thank you guys so much for joining me while picking out my October TBR in the dark or in the candle/lamp lighting, but hopefully this was a nice little fun ambient video for you to watch during this season. I think I got really great books to really match the vibe, and I am so excited to get into those. I'm sure the lighting and everything got really weird at different times, and the lighting probably changed, and I know that my camera angle changed, but like I said earlier, what can you do besides just choosing not to film in the dark? I don't know, I thought this was fun, and I'm glad that I got it over with because now it is definitely time for me to go to bed and watch something happy while I take my mascara off so I can go to bed not creeped out. My camera is flashing because it's about to die, so thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Oh, let me know if you want to see a reading vlog of any of those videos. Ooh, what if I do like a spooky, like reading in the dark vlog? I don't know if I can handle that, to be honest. Like I said, I'm a scaredy cat. Okay, I don't know. Bye!